Welcome to the Brand and Market Podcast, where branding clarity meets marketing strategy. I'm your host, Allie Haney, founder of Brand and Market, a boutique agency dedicated to helping small businesses craft intentional brands and effective marketing plans. Each week, I share practical tips and insights to help you, especially those of you in real estate-related industries, build a standout brand to attract your brand's biggest fans. Let's dive in. Welcome back to another episode of the Brand and Market Podcast. I'm your host, Allie Haney, and today I have a very special guest with me. He's sitting right by my side because he lives with me. So without further ado, let's welcome Caleb Haney, my husband, to the podcast. It is his birthday coming up soon, and back in the fall, I did an episode with my daughter around her birthday, and it's still to this day one of my most listened to episodes. So I was like, hey, why don't we do this with every member of the family? So this year you will be in for a treat in April, August, September, and October. You'll get to hear from my husband and my kids. So in the vein of celebration of your birthday, Caleb, that's coming up in a little less than a month. You'll be turning 34. As you get older, it's like hard to keep track.
It doesn't matter. Once you hit 30, I think it's the last milestone until 50.
Oh, really? What about 40? I feel like 40 is like the over-the-hill age.
Used to be.
Used to be? Now 50 is the new 40?
Probably so, yeah.
Well, in the vein of celebration, I want to kind of walk down memory lane to start our episode about some of your favorite birthday memories. I know your family doesn't celebrate birthdays as traditionally, I guess, or as like over the top as some people do. So I'm curious as to whether your favorite birthday memory is going to be from your childhood or from like since we've been together. No pressure.
Well, I think my 30th birthday, we got reined in and maybe went to one distillery while we were in Kentucky looking around.
Oh, that's right. We were touring properties.
Yeah, and you forgot.
I forgot your birthday?
Yeah.
So you're not telling me your favorite memory, you're telling me your worst memory. Great.
I think growing up, we didn't really have birthdays. I didn't really care for cake, so I got brownies on my birthday. And then once we got into paintball, it was just another excuse to play paintball, get everybody over. But we played paintball
all the time,
every other weekend.
Yeah, so it wasn't really a birthday thing.
No, just another excuse. But those were fun times.
And still to this day, you ask for brownies for your birthday.
Still don't like cake.
Still don't like cake.
Unless it's red velvet. But even that can get too much.
Okay, so your favorite birthday memory is eating brownies and playing paintball. Tell me what you want for your birthday this year when you turn 34, even though it's not a milestone.
I don't think I ever asked for anything on my birthday.
Well, you don't ever ask for anything.
Anything tangible, at least. I don't know. There's a rail cart thing somewhere in North Carolina.
Oh, like kind of like a train looking thing and you pedal?
Yeah. It's not a train. You're just on train tracks riding through like the mountains or something.
That's cool. I wonder where that is.
I'm pretty sure it's in North Carolina.
There was one in Kentucky too, you know?
Yeah. Never did it.
Never did it. Kentucky was a blur. We'll touch on that in a little bit. Well, I'm a little bit disappointed that you didn't say the baseball game tickets that I already bought. But the Cosmic Glow game?
Oh, coming up.
Yeah. Your birthday is in like 3 weeks.
Well, I'm already getting that.
Oh, you were trying to think of something different.
Yeah.
Additional. Okay. Now that we talked about your birthday, now I get to talk about me.
Sounds good.
So I am very curious when someone asks you what I do, which happens, I feel like relatively often considering how many times we've moved in the last few years. When someone asks you what I do, what do you tell them?
That you run your own business doing marketing.
That sounds like it has a question mark at the end.
Well, I think marketing has a lot in there, and people ask me what marketing is, and
then it goes off the rails.
Like, I don't know, look it up. It entails everything, social media, a whole bunch of things.
So you do give them examples?
Nah, you just tell them whatever marketing is.
You just say I run my own business. Doesn't really matter what the business is.
Yeah.
Do you even actually like include marketing? Or you just say she runs her own business?
I say marketing.
Oh, okay. So what do you think I do? Like when I'm on my computer for hours at a time? What do you think I'm doing?
Websites and social media.
Yeah. Okay. That's pretty close. Email marketing, brand design, strategies for branding and for marketing, targeting specific ideal clients. That's for brand and market, though. That's not necessarily for all the other businesses.
Well, yeah. I'll even talk about the main one.
Yeah. It's funny that like neither of us really think of our short-term rentals as a business. I don't think. At least I don't.
No.
But it's one of the most consistent forms of income that our family has.
True.
At least coming from like what I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a funny question too. Some of the questions he got beforehand, some of them he's hearing for the first time. So throughout my life, I've gone by multiple different names, which is not a super common thing for people, but I've gone by Alex, Allie Ray. My full name is Alexandra. So when people ask you what my name is, what do you tell them?
Whatever you tell me to tell them. When we moved down here, while we were driving down here, I asked you that. We were going to a new state, a new area. I have a friend here, but he never met you. So what do you want to be called? And you still didn't give me a right answer.
A right answer? Or a direct?
A clear answer.
A direct answer.
A direct answer.
Did I not? Am I Alex again?
You are Alex.
I am Alex, period.
I guess. But
because I just introduced myself on this podcast as, hi, I'm your host, Allie Haney. When they ask me for my name at like a coffee shop, I usually give Allie.
Yeah, and then you get upset when they spell it wrong.
I don't get upset, but I'll be like, my name's Allie, A-L-I.
Mm-hmm.
Because not only do I go sometimes by Allie, sometimes by Alex, I also spell Allie very differently than most people. Usually it's A-L-L-I or A-L-L-I-E. When they drop an L, like people don't know whether it's Allie or Ollie.
Yeah.
Even like Siri, when I call your mom's phone when she's looking for it, and it says, incoming call from Ollie Haney.
Well, we had my friend come over, and you were introduced the whole time as Allie, and then he read one of our map of where we've been around the world, and it says Alex, and he's like, who's Alex? Then we had a whole conversation, and then even after, we hung out with him for like 2 days, and now you switch back to Alex.
Yeah, it's probably an identity crisis. Probably should be in therapy, but so you don't introduce me to other people.
I don't.
You don't.
Yeah, this is my wife. She'll introduce herself with whatever she's feeling today.
Next question.
Like the whole rainbow of Spice Girls. Are you Sporty Spice today, or
what? I'm always Sporty Spice.
I don't know what the other Spice Girls are.
You only know one Spice Girl.
Yeah.
Well, Sporty Spice was my favorite growing up.
Yeah, I knew that.
That's why you knew it?
Yeah.
Yeah, my like first email address ever in like elementary school, Sporty ARL at AOL.com. ARL, Alexandra Ray Lamb. I was Alexandra back then, I guess. No, I was Alex. So next question. We said that I introduced myself as Allie Haney on my podcast, but would you know that? Would you know that that's how I introduce myself? Do you listen to my podcast?
You told me not to.
But
I'm surprised we're even having this conversation.
What do you mean?
You're doing the podcast with me, but you won't let me listen to you do the podcast.
Oh, like while I'm recording?
Yeah.
It's like super secret.
Right.
I don't know why I do that either. Well, typically I'm recording like in our closet. It's not like you're just going to, or my closet. So it's not like you're going to sit in the closet with me and listen to me record. That would be weirder than me just recording in a closet.
You did this podcast before we moved down here. You weren't in the closet in Virginia.
I was downstairs in my
and I couldn't be
dungeon
downstairs.
Office. Well, yeah, I mean, you couldn't be downstairs because you had to watch the kids. And if the kids were downstairs, they would be able to, like the microphone would be able to pick them up. So it didn't really start like...
I don't think it was that. I don't think it was the kids. But I did listen to Huxley's episode.
It was a really cute episode. Are you going to listen to this one?
Probably not. I'm living it right now.
You're not curious as to what your voice sounds like on recording?
No.
people ask me if I listen to my own podcast, and I do not. I record it. I give it over to Haley at Gaffin Creative to edit the episode. She does all of the edits, adds the commercials, uploads it, and schedules it. So like after I record, I don't listen to it at all. It's funny that like I won't say I can't stand my voice. I'm not like annoyed by my voice, but I would not choose to listen to it. But other people have told me that I have a calm, soothing voice. And really all I can hear is like a gravelly voice. So
I don't know if calm and soothing would be what I say.
what would you say?
Been married like 11 years. I'm not annoyed by your voice. It's a nice voice.
I appreciate that.
It's no like Morgan Freeman or something.
Would that be annoying or would that be?
I would listen to any book that he audio reads or whatever.
Oh, gotcha.
I don't know that I would listen to a book that you read to me.
I read 3 books to our kids every single night. So you listen to me read books every single day.
I mean, I can listen to Dr. Seuss.
I feel like now I know that you hate my voice. It's fine. I'll just use one of those voice changers from now on. Moving on. So let's talk about our time in Kentucky. I know that like we've talked about it, obviously, offline or outside of the podcast, but I think it is your point of view does not get shared. I don't really share much of our like family life on social media or on the podcast. So I think it would be interesting to get your point of view kind of out in the open. So what is your take on our time in Kentucky? What was it like kind of going through the experience of the venue being a great big dream, decimated? Like what was the experience as the partner or the supporting person?
Just to start off, I mean, it was a bold move. Got out of the military, moved 8 hours away from anybody that we knew.
Which was farther than we had ever been in the military.
Correct.
Yeah.
This is 2 kids.
Yeah.
No job.
For either, I mean, I ran my own business, but at that time, my business was still a wedding photography business. So I was traveling back and forth from Kentucky to Virginia to shoot the weddings that I still had booked. But I didn't have any income coming from Kentucky. And like you said, you were still looking for a job.
But, I enjoy horses. I enjoy bourbon. It's kind of the draw of Kentucky. But if you're not in one of those 2 businesses, then it's a beautiful state. I enjoy traveling around and going to all the different distilleries. I feel like if we stuck to our plan from the start and turned it into a 10-year goal, it would have been a little bit different. We could have found the right spot, right area to do what we wanted to do and make it what we wanted. It was a little difficult working in the office 5 days a week, sometimes long hours, sometimes nights.
You mean at your full-time job?
Yeah.
Yeah. He did end up finding a job, obviously. He worked at a local paving company as the equipment manager, but those hours were like, I think you left the house usually around 6 a.m. and got home around 6 p.m. Yeah. It was a long day to come home and work on 90 acres, mow for 4 hours.
Yeah, but then also being 30 minutes away from everything that you and the kids were dealing with seemed kind of helpless, I'd say.
When you say, like, give them context of what we were dealing with?
Living in our own island, basically surrounded by no friends.
I would say no friends is an understatement.
Sometimes hostile people.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know about that whole venue escapade, go take a look or take a listen to episode 3. I walk you through everything that happened throughout our adventure in trying to start a wedding venue in Kentucky. Short version, very, very short version, is we purchased the property to be a wedding venue. Went through all of the proper channels in order to get the permits that we needed to do business legally and legitimately, and faced a lot of pushback from our neighbors. We were on 90 acres. However, we had some neighbors that were very against having any type of commercial business in any way, shape, or form around their homes. And they took it past the like normal, just, I don't like normal distaste or
I don't know, agree to disagree.
right, right. And push past that to become hostile, where we felt like we always had to be on alert to see who was around us. It was just not a good situation. Thankfully, that situation has aired out quite a bit. And when we transitioned over to making no longer pursuing the wedding venue and making it into an Airbnb, they were much more amenable to that process. So all that to say, it's better now. And I think it probably is better now because partially because it's an Airbnb, partially because we are not physically there anymore. But yeah, I was just curious as to like what it was like for you to see me go through like the realization of this dream is not going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, you kept thinking that it was a failure, but it's not a failure. If you didn't fail the dream, you just had to pivot because of one, we didn't follow our original 5-10 year plan, and two, I don't know that anybody could have figured out what kind of island we were going to. Clearly, it's not a failure since we're still doing pretty good with it as an Airbnb.
So to give you some insight into what that property is like I mentioned, it's on 90 acres and there's 3 structures on the property. The first is the main house. So that's an almost 6,000 square foot house, 5 bed, 5.5 bath. So that's the house that we Airbnb. And then there is what they called the carriage house. It's an apartment over a garage, 2 bed, 1 bath. And then there's a 5,000 square foot metal shop. When we decided to no longer pursue the wedding venue and transition to an Airbnb, we were living in the big house at the time. And I remember coming home. I had to be home for like a week to shoot 2 weddings, 2 weekends back to back. And then when I came back, Caleb had moved all of the stuff over from the main house to the guest house so that we could start prepping for the Airbnb. And at that time, it was, we were a family of 4, but we were expecting our 3rd child in August, and that was in May. So we were pretty far along in the pregnancy at that point, but we were moving our family of 4, soon to be 5, into less than 1,000 square feet so that we could start to bring in some sort of income to this, big, expensive property to offset the cost of it. So with that being said, are you or were you happy with how we pivoted to an Airbnb? What was your reaction to that?
Yeah, I think Airbnb is a great idea. I know even when you were talking about the wedding venue and kind of chalking it up as a failure, you started to realize that if we did this, then most of our weekends would be gone hosting weddings and doing stuff like that. So by making it an Airbnb, don't necessarily need to be there when the guests are there unless, something happens. But then you can, if it's a plumbing issue, you just call a plumber and they'll go take care of it. It's not like you have to be there on hand the whole time. It allows us to make money from, offset the cost of the property, but also gives us flexibility to travel and do what we want with the kids on the weekends.
Yeah, I will say that I obviously acknowledged the fact that our weekends would be devoted to weddings for a short amount of time. And you mentioned the 10-year plan before, and I was only intending to be part of the venue's like org chart for 1 to 2 years once we were actually like up and taking weddings, because I was you were not either like any stranger to the wedding world. I was a wedding photographer. That's how I got into the wedding world initially. And you second shot for me. So like you knew what it was like to be away on the weekends and how that was hard. I saw that opportunity to capitalize more on weddings through the venue. Obviously, it was a bigger investment, right? I'm not just buying a camera and shooting weddings. We're buying a giant $1.5 million property. But acknowledging the fact that like this has to be a grind for a little bit before we can reap the benefits and become, the CEO or the owner. We gotta be the operator for a little bit. So I will say that being an operator for an Airbnb, because that was our second Airbnb property. And then I also co-host your mom's property. So I feel like I have the systems in place that allows us to run it in as little time as possible. And I think that kind of brings us back to like why we don't even consider it really a business. It's making money, sure, of course. But to me, like there's this like saying that you're a business owner comes with this hard work, gritty, long hours, like kind of connotation. And for me, Airbnb is not that. It doesn't feel like a grind. I really enjoy it and I do it efficiently and quickly. So
it's more of a passive income.
More, a little bit.
I mean, yeah, there's work, but it feels more like passive income.
It's really nice to see those deposits hit the account. When I get an email that says a payout's been sent, it feels really, really good. Building a brand boils down to being liked, known, and ultimately trusted by your clients and customers. But let's first focus on being known. Have you heard the statistic about how a potential customer needs to encounter a brand 7 or more times before purchasing from them? Now, let me ask you this. What if a potential customer has encountered your brand 7 times, but doesn't realize it's the same brand? That means you've been putting in a whole lot of work into marketing your business, but the brand isn't consistent enough to land the sale because they don't know it's you. Consistency while building a brand is so important to top-line sales. In fact, it could increase them by 33%. Yes, you could be missing out on a third of your sales because people don't know your business is your business. Fix all of this confusion by creating a consistent and cohesive brand across all client touchpoints using the Brand Strategy Framework mini course. This is where we'll walk through all the foundations of a solid brand, then audit your existing brand to finally implement the changes that need to be made in order to get you the brand you want and deserve. This DIY style course is perfect for the entrepreneur who's working on a budget but knows that something within their business doesn't quite hit right. Head to the Brand Strategy Framework course link in the show notes to take the next step in your brand's journey. So what's the best Airbnb story that you can remember that had to do with a guest? I know that you don't directly deal with guests. That's my kind of forte. You're more on the like, when we were living in Kentucky, we were more on the like fixing end. Like if somebody did something stupid, you were the one that had to deal with it. But like what could either the North Carolina property, the Kentucky property, or your mom's property in Virginia, like, can you think of a story that's like funny or crazy that has to do with a guest?
For our house down in North Carolina.
Oh God. I know what you're going to say.
Yeah, we had that one party that was there. Cops got called and they ended up kicking them out. And some people jumped out over the back fence. And
yeah, they just scattered like ants.
Yeah. And then the next morning, one of our neighbors, he comes over and he's like, "Hey, I know that party." Jeremy had to go over there and talk to him, see what how much damage they did to our house or if any. And which they didn't. It wasn't that bad.
Jeremy's his brother. He lives in Sneads Ferry, where the house was. So he was able. We were not physically there. We had orders to Quantico. So we were in Virginia, about 5 hours away. Thankfully, Jeremy still lived there and was able to go and monitor the situation.
But yeah, one of the neighbors saw my brother over there, and he's like, "Hey, I saw that party got kicked out. I bet there's still beer left in there." They had to run out real quick, so he was able to snack. I think they only grabbed like a 6-pack, or maybe it was a 12-pack with like 8 beers left in there. But
that was like our apologies for having a rager at our house unbeknownst. Here's some beer.
He was a scavenger. He got it.
That was in April of 2020. So that was right after COVID lockdown. And we were still trying to figure out how to like handle COVID.
Yeah.
But the crazy thing, we ended up closing the property down for like 2 months, I think. And the crazy thing about that, though, the person that threw that party was a Marine at Camp Lejeune. And so we were in Virginia and I had a Ring doorbell camera. So I was like trying to get screenshots of all their faces to send to their command. And I was pretty pregnant then too. I was pregnant with Jack. maybe not pretty pregnant. I was due in September. But I just remember like 2 a.m. screenshotting this, these people coming in and out, trying to pause the camera where it was like so grainy and hard to see. And I will say that was an awful like 24 hours, but I learned a huge lesson as an Airbnb host through that, and that you should never accept one night reservations. Because I think at that point I was still like, I had it on there that they had to message me before they could actually book. It wasn't like they could direct or instant book. And he had told me that his family was visiting from California. So he lied to me. And I went ahead and accepted the reservation, just being naive and trusting him. Like hindsight 2020, like, why would his family only from California only be here for one night? That's stupid. But that was a very valuable lesson. I remember bringing in the cleaners after that, and they had like beer pong set up in the living room. They did roll up the carpet. Hey, I'll give them that. Yeah. But like when the cleaner walked in, she FaceTimed me and it was like, like their feet were sticking to the ground because it was just like dried jungle juice everywhere.
Yeah.
On the hardwood floors.
But there was no like real damage, lasting damage.
No, there was not any. There were no holes in the walls or like broken appliances or anything like that. But it damaged my heart.
I do remember when we had some construction guys that were down there for like a month or something.
Yeah, contractors.
They were the best. But somebody had broken into the house earlier, and so through the garage, and we put up cameras in there in the garage to see if anybody comes back through there. I mean, those contractors, they left the house in perfect condition. They brought their own TV and like Xbox or something like that, and they just played video games all night in the garage until they found the camera and put a paint can in front of it. And then they moved the paint can once they left, so not to block it anymore. Yeah, they were just playing like FIFA or something all night.
Yeah, I think that probably one of my favorite stories that is far less like dramatic than yours that you chose. Jeez, you just went straight for it. Is like it was one of the very first guests. We learned a lot in that first like 6 months, not only about like short-term rentals and guest communication, setting expectations, but also like with COVID. But anyway, the guest had messaged me after they checked out and said, "Did you ever sense a presence in this house?" And I was like, no, we lived there for 3 years while my husband was stationed there. I never got, my spidey senses never tingled. And she was like, well, every morning or every night at 2 a.m., I hear something that sounds like the coffee maker is going off. And I don't know what it is. Well, when we went down there to turn the property into an Airbnb, we had taken down our Roomba, like the robot vacuum from Northern Virginia, and forgot that we had it for our Stafford house on a timer at 2 a.m. every morning to go off to clean while we were asleep. Well, when we took it down to the North Carolina house and plugged it in, it retained, I guess, that like schedule. And so she was hearing we call her Rhonda. She was hearing Rhonda like every night at 2 a.m. while she was there, thinking that it was a ghost. And it was really like cleaning up their mess. Yeah,
I guess we were fairly heavy sleepers that it never bothered us at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Well, and we knew, even if our senses weren't heightened because we weren't sleeping in a new place, we, had been the ones to schedule it. So, okay. And just to end on like kind of a funny note, this might fall flat for you. I'm not sure. Have you ever heard of the game Marry, Kiss, or Kill?
Sure.
So I would give you 3 people, and you would choose who you're going to marry, who you're going to kiss, and who you're going to kill.
Mm-hmm.
So instead, I'm going to do Airbnb version, and it's called Invest, Sell, or Live. Okay?
Okay.
And I'm going to give you 3 places. You have to tell me where you would invest and make it a short-term rental, which one you would sell, and where you would live. You got it?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to do it twice because I made very varied options. First one, LA.
Sell.
You can't, you gotta wait to listen to all three. LA, the Hamptons, or Orlando, Florida.
Where are the Hamptons?
In like New England.
Invest in the Hamptons. I guess I live in Orlando.
You'd live in Orlando, Disney capital USA.
I'm not living in the other two places.
Why not the Hamptons? That's like a ritzy place.
It's not for me.
You made that decision so quickly. You didn't even have to think about it. You didn't even let me finish the other two options before you said you're going to sell LA.
Well, for sure sell LA.
That would be a great short-term rental. Super lucrative.
Nah, too many taxes.
Okay, next one. Invest, sell, live. Bozeman, Montana, Central Tennessee, and Central Virginia. For context, he was born in Central Tennessee and we grew up in Central Virginia. Ooh, that one's a little bit harder, huh?
Probably sell Central Virginia.
What? Our hometown, you're just going to sell it away?
Well, we didn't move back there. Probably live in Tennessee and invest in Bozeman. I like Bozeman. I don't know that I'd live there.
Yeah,
I'm not much of a... Like, I'm good with one hard snowfall for the year and then back to summer.
And that is kind of the point of short-term rentals, is that you can, when you own it, you can decide when you want to go visit it.
Oh, yeah, I'd go visit Bozeman in the winter and go skiing.
That's funny because I'd be like, I'd go visit Bozeman in the summer and go hiking.
We could do that too.
Okay, so if you were going to purchase a short-term rental investment property anywhere in the United States, does not have to be my invest, sell, live list. Tell me where it would be.
What do I just have? Monopoly money? Anything I can buy? Or
Sure.
is there like a cap on something?
Premise is give me two answers. Money is no object, first answer. Budget, second answer.
Probably Colorado.
For money is no object?
Yeah.
Okay.
Colorado's growing. It's pretty expensive to move there. Anywhere. Especially in like the Rockies area.
Anywhere specific?
In the Rockies.
Is that like Boulder?
Yeah. Colorado Springs.
I know next to nothing about Colorado. So
well, Colorado Springs is where the Air Force Academy is, but it's up in the mountains, nice ski area. I mean, you could get people to rent that pretty easily, I would think.
At least seasonally.
Yeah. Well, I mean, also, it's like going up to Annapolis.
Oh, because of the academy.
Yeah.
Got it.
But in the wintertime, you know, we're not necessarily going up to Annapolis in the wintertime. People would go.
Football games.
Well, not
visit their
skiing. And then in the spring and, you know, summertime, they'd go and visit the campus or something. And there's also other things around Colorado Springs.
Second answer, budget. Let's say $500K, which is still technically Monopoly money because we don't have $500K. Yeah. But
yeah, I don't know. Probably like Asheville area, maybe. They got a lot of mountains that you can kind of hike up and hiking trails.
Appalachian Trail goes through Asheville.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Asheville's also expensive. You'd probably be hard pressed to find $500K. Yeah. And they also just unfortunately got hit by the hurricane.
Oh yeah, that's true.
They're rebuilding right now.
I'm not much of a beach person, so I'd want to invest in a short-term rental that I'd want to visit, like Bozeman.
Yeah.
Right now, I got a brother that lives near the beach, so if we wanted to go to the beach, we could go there. And then, yeah, find something up in the mountains.
I mean, your sister also lives near the beach. Not as close as your brother, but...
Yeah, but she's not staying there.
She's staying there long enough for us to go to Sand in My Boots Festival. Woohoo! Okay, so at the end of every episode, I always ask my guests the same question. What's your number one piece of advice to become the best in your brand and in your market?
In my brand? What is my brand?
for the listeners, how do they become the best in their brand? Can you give them a piece of branding and marketing advice? Now, with that being said, obviously I know that you don't come from a branding or marketing background. However, you did learn a lot in your coaching program that I think could be applied to this question.
I mean, really, your brand is you. So you just got to be yourself. You can't be fake. People will see right through it. You can only fake it so long. And then you just start reverting back to who you actually are.
So to put that into my algorithm's terms, he's saying, be authentic. That was the translation for millennial women in the creative space.
I mean, if you're not a bubbly person, don't hop on Instagram and be all cheery. I mean, you don't have to be Eeyore. But
Are you talking about me?
No.
Oh, okay.
You can tell if somebody is bubbly in their, natural world and not just doing it for the gram.
So, Caleb's words of wisdom: eat brownies and be authentic. Thank you for being on my podcast and for entertaining this crazy idea of having all of our family members.
Yeah, good luck with Emerson.
I know, that one's going to be interesting. Emerson he'll be turning 3 this year. So we'll try to make sure he slows down and enunciates in August, but thank you.
Yeah, but he won't even talk to somebody on the phone when when he wants to call.
Well, he'll think he's just talking to mommy. All right, signing off until next week. This is another episode of the Brandon Market Podcast. Can't wait to see you then. You just completed another episode of the Brandon Market Podcast. If you found this helpful, please rate, review, and subscribe to help others find this show and so that you never miss an episode. Don't forget to take a look at the show notes for all the resources mentioned today. See you next Wednesday, and as always, I'm here cheering you on as you build your dream brand and business.